presenting company number two, and it's Elad Barak, co founder and CEO, Voyager. Elad, please take it away. Elad, by the way, is no stranger to Cannabis Investing Forum. Good to see you back.
Hey, thanks for having me, and really interesting conversation so far. One second, I'm just gonna share my screen. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me again, and we have a lot of interesting updates to share. So I'm just gonna dive into it, and then go to the Q&A. So we always like to start before we talk about Voyagers, just to talk about the industry quickly and mention one thing that all of us tend to kind of forget, and that is the fact that when we look on the numbers of how many people actually consume cannabis, the majority of the population still doesn't consume cannabis. And when we want to go and look at the reasons why, the main 5 reasons that come up are all around two kind of topics or issues. One is the control and dosing issue, that people don't want to overdose, and two is people don't want to smoke and vape. And the Voyager solution answers both of those things. So our solution is a pocket-sized dispenser for cannabis or any other liquid to that form. But in cannabis, we have two products that we can work with. One is oil drops. Those are the same regular oils that you put sublingually and we are all familiar with, and beverage drops. And those are the drops that you can add to a beverage, mix, and get a cannabis beverage. And the way it works is very easy. You take our dispenser. This is a one-time purchase. You connect the pod to it. You dial in your dose. There's a small screen, so you can choose how many milligrams you want. You press the button and you get an accurate dose to your beverage, or again, sublingually if you want. It's simple, precise, portable, and gives you all the control you want as a cannabis consumer. This is all based on our we're patent pending on our patent pending technology. And we've just received about a month and a half ago our first review from the PCT. That's the international filing. Fairly well, really small comments. We already replied to it and updated also the American submission. So things are going really good from that perspective. We also conducted a market research to kind of better understand if what we're doing really answers the challenges that consumers have. And we were very pleased to find out that when we presented this concept to different consumers, and we did a big market research insights, they saw that it's precise, simple, and portable. But above all, they gave our product value. And this is not related to the cost of the product, but actually to the fact that it answers the things they need. The other interesting part was the intent to purchase was very high amongst current users. And the more, if you kind of divide them more into smaller groups, the higher the consumption rate, the higher the interest to purchase this. And this is completely in line with other concepts that consumers are familiar with. So really good, great results. Now, the way our business works is we sell these pods empty to different cannabis companies. They fill it with their cannabis, they put their own brand in it, and they sell it through their distribution channels. And what we kept here in the financials is just to show that our pod cost goes into their COGS, which still keeps them on a 60% gross margin, which is what most cannabis companies aim for. And with that in mind, I want to take you to our financial projections. And this is looking on our first market that has 35 million population. And within 3 years, we can reach $35 million revenue. This is using the assumption that we'll have 6 recreational partners with us selling those pods. And we make, again, from that COGS, that's where we divide our revenue from. Now, the interesting part about Voyager is our scalability. Because even if you want to argue our numbers up or down a bit, the scalability is what matters here. The fact that we do not touch the plant means there's no border. So we can go to Canada, to the States, to Europe, or any other country we want. The fact that we're doing hardware means the higher the quantity, the lower the cost. This is not a plant or something else. In each local market, we work with local partners, kind of like a franchise or franchisee, to manage that local ecosystem. We have a very low setup cost for different partners that want to work with us. We essentially developed our product to be fillable by the same machines that fill vape machines, just because most companies will have that already, and if not, it's a $50,000 device. And last but not least, we work with local brands to have quick organic growth. Now we're here raising $1.5 million US at a $6 million pre-money valuation, and we have 2 main goals with our raise. The first is to finalize our manufacturing capabilities so we can go to market, and we expect to do that in half a year after we fundraise. And the second one is launch in a lead market. Now, once we finish fundraising, we can continue kind of rolling the capital and increasing our expansion within the markets. Just quickly from a milestone perspective, so we've passed Health Canada approval last year. We can start selling this product in Canada if we want. We've signed, this is not updated, we have now a few partners that we've signed here in Canada to work together. We're working towards sensory testing with one of the licensed producers. So they're going to test it with an expert panel, and we're getting ready for full-scale manufacturing and being on the market later this year, early 2022. And last thing I want to mention before we kind of sum this up is when we did our market research, we also asked consumers, where else do you see this used? And we were very happy to see that they all went to very interesting fields, such as vitamins, medication, caffeine drops, essential oils. And what's important to mention here is that we're starting in the cannabis industry, but again, we're a hardware company. And our technology can apply also in health and wellness and pharmaceuticals and psychedelics. So we definitely see this going to other places. So with that, I'll leave it for questions. Thanks.
What a pro. Good work. So who would like to start? Who would like to ask the first question? Okay, Dr. John Thompson, you have the floor. John, you're on mute.
Unmute. There we go. Can you hear me now?
That's good.
Okay, good. Hey, good presentation. I really enjoyed it. Appreciate that. So can I ask you, what is are you going to wholesale these to the various companies, and what's that purchase price? I didn't see it. It was at $5?
Yeah, so the idea is that instead of trying to have our own brand, and once we prove that this delivery method is successful, have people trying to compete with us, we want to just own the platform. So we want to work with the other brands. For the cost of the pod itself for the companies, it varies depending on the milligrams they want to put inside. And we have a way to kind of control and monitor that. So they can't just, say they want to put 100 milligrams and then put 1,000. But we vary the price according to that. And we've been through the process with a few licensed producers here in Canada, and they're all good with the price.
What are your gross margins?
Our gross margins are around 60% as well.
And have you sold any of these yet?
No, so we're pre-revenue. We have a few deals lined up, as I mentioned, for once we have the product. Right now, we need to finalize our manufacturing capabilities. So we still need to finish the molding.
Why not just use a tincture to dose? Why not just use a tincture dropper?
Yeah, sure. So, that question comes sometimes. So here in Canada, I would mention that it's out of regulations. You can't have any more of those droppers or syringes. You can actually only have what's called dosing cap. But regardless of that, we see a lot of abilities to do other stuff for product. And it's kind of like a lot of people will use a vape pen and not a regular vape, not only because now you're not smoking, also the convenience that is missing with just dealing with dirty stuff like dry leaf or oil. But we divided the cannabis that's digestible to kind of 3 product lines. There's oils, soft gels, and edibles. And you can see that only Voyager allows you to, one, really customize your dose, because you can't really do that with a dropper, not to the level that we allow you. And then not even the level of accuracy. So we have less than 3% error, meaning that if you want to consume 3 milligrams, you'll get exactly 3 milligrams. There's no chance you'll take 5 accidentally and not understand why your experience is wrong.
So does the $5 include the pod and the dosage unit, or are those separate?
So again, we're saying, that $5 is all of their cost. Our pod is inside that. That includes their oil and everything they need. The dispenser itself will be $20 to the consumers, and we're not planning on making any profit from the dispenser. So the dispenser is a one-time purchase. It has all the electronics, the battery, the power, all the smarts that needs to be done. And the pod is essentially a very sophisticated bottle with a dispensing mechanism that we developed.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. David Cram.
Yes, hey. Great presentation. Really quick question for me. This is in terms of competitive analysis. who are your competitors in this space as you see them, and how do you believe you are different and or better?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I think for us, the competition is either digestible products. There's nobody else that we know that does any dispensing mechanisms. So essentially, it's those three groups, right? Now, we believe that, for example, on the beverage side, a lot of companies went with this approach of let's do ready to drink, but nobody thought maybe that's not the right approach. You know, a lot of people will buy coffee, but nobody will buy it in a can. They will buy it in grains, right, and beans. And the same goes to cannabis. Maybe you just need to dispense it to yourself. It's cheaper, it's more convenient, and it's actually to your wanting. So we're competing with them. We're competing with people that want to have capsules or tablets, but don't want to get exactly 5 milligrams. They want to be able to say, now I need 3 milligrams, and tomorrow I need to take 7. And we're competing with the oil. So we're kind of going to have the ability to take, I think, consumers for all of them.
Do you view PAX Labs as a direct competitor to what you're trying to do?
I view them as one of our bigger options for an exit.
Love it. Okay, Carol, you got
But
one more question.
They do vaping. Sorry if I could just finish that. Sorry, but they
Sure,
do
go
vaping.
ahead, no problem. And Carol, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say they do vaping.
Okay, so
We do the
excellent presentation. Thank you. Do you guys have any patent issue or in process? What is your exit strategy and the terms, please, of that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
What is your exit strategy? What are the terms? And if you have any patent in process?
Yeah, so I'll start with the easy one. That's the patent. We submitted our patent in the States. It's actually dated back to July 2019. We're patent pending at the moment. We also submitted a PCT, an international patent. We've received the first review. It was really good. We answered a bit, and we've also replied also to the US patent office to kind of give them those updates. Our patent is already published on Google if you want to search it without those small updates. But altogether, I would say it's going really well, and I believe it will help us protect our product, mainly so when we want to go to the medical field. From an exit perspective, right now we're a private company. As I mentioned, I think there will be a few exits within the cannabis industry, either with the big cannabis companies here in Canada or the MSOs, but also potential companies, I think, like PAX, that understand this business and know what it means to own an ecosystem. And where PAX was when they started. Nobody's doing this. We're the first one building this ecosystem. And even if you have a few other ecosystems eventually like this, the first mover advantage is very important in an ecosystem where you can kind of block competition.
Okay. Elad, sorry, we have to wrap it up. That was a great presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
Speaking only for myself.